Imagine this. You've come back in from a long day of school or work. You open TikTok and you just find out the most jaw-dropping personal information about someone you've ever seen in your life. If you scroll on TikTok for more than 5 minutes, I'm sure you've seen it, whether it's someone bawling their eyes out on their bathroom floor, sharing way too much details about a recent breakup, or just trauma dumping to millions of people online. TikTok has an oversharing problem, and I want to talk about this as someone who used to overshare way too much on TikTok. Oversharing isn't just being open and vulnerable, it's sharing deeply personal information without any boundary or any regard for long term consequences. And the app rewards it. The more emotion in a video, the more engagement it gets, and pain becomes content. The TikTok algorithm doesn't care if you heal, it just cares about engagement. And high emotional intensity and reliability will result in people commenting, I feel seen, or you're so brave for posting this. And the validation feels good towards the creator. And in a moment of crisis, sometimes that's all people need. The issue is with oversharing, from a creator's point of view, is this illusion of connection. I think a TikTok audience is kind of confusing, as it doesn't feel like real people. You don't feel like you're telling someone, as there's no faces behind the names, and they're just random people on your screen. It doesn't matter if they see. And I, as well as many others, have used TikTok as like a diary. However, it gives you this false feeling of connection. And the comments can't replace offline support systems, friends, close family, even therapist. Once something's posted, it can be taken out of context, stitched, mocked, and downloaded and saved forever. So no matter what you do, it's out there. And people forget how relevant a digital footprint is nowadays. If someone wanted to stalk you on the internet, which is very common and it's socially acceptable, they can find out almost anything about you. From your TikTok repost to what you like on Instagram, to what you now repost on Instagram, to your stories, to the friends that have tagged you and stuff on Instagram. Anything is accessible. Due to this, I think you have to make more of an effort to keep something in your life private than to make something public. Now it's not just, oh, who you include in your story. You actually have to try and keep something private. For example, the relationship I'm in now, I've kept completely on the down low. People know I'm in a relationship and they know I'm taken. I make that very obvious, and I will talk about my boyfriend. But I'm very intentional on how I post him. He's not on any of my streams. I keep him well away from the online community. I think it's very important when you are a social media creator to keep things more on the down low. I am someone who doesn't really post without meaning. A lot of the songs I lip sync to always have meaning or are slightly aimed, but usually it's just more of a reflection of my life or something that's happened after. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not completely free of not oversharing on the internet. In upset moments, I have made TikToks that are aimed or reflect an issue that's happening at that time. But recently, I've gotten into journaling, which honestly, I got into last year, and I cannot recommend to anyone enough. I think everyone should do it. It's a good way of sharing your emotions, and if you don't feel like you can write it down, you can still write down the lyrics of a song that you relate to. You don't need to make a TikTok about it. Or what I found personally before I started journaling. So I just posted TikToks privately. I could still express how I feel, but I didn't need anyone else's validation. I just wanted to get the emotions out, which I realized later. And I think many of my audience can see this from the lack of TikToks I've been putting out. Because half of them are in my privated only my eyes folder or whatever it's called on TikTok. I think it's important to note that we have come from an age where a lot of people saw content as this thing you look up to, where influencers would just post the best bits about their life and often create a fake reality for their viewers, ignoring all the dark sides of their life, which is another video which I'm down to post. But as you see, many creators still fake days in their life and include multiple different receipts over different days to create the illusion that they've got more money or they spend more money in a day. However, everything comes in moderation, And although I think it's good to share struggles online so people can relate to it and people can feel seen, there's a difference between oversharing and sharing your emotion. Being vulnerable online is being intentional with what you post, and it happens well after the process, after you've properly healed and can reflect on all the emotions you felt. It has boundaries and it doesn't mention any names and protects people. Whereas oversharing is impulsive and in the moment. It's usually seeking validation and often cause harm. For example, during a rough breakup 3 years ago, while the breakup was happening, I continually posted TikToks sharing music because I felt the only way I could express myself was through music. Now, reflecting on that, it was not very good because not just random people saw it spamming their feed, but my ex, who had just broken up with me, saw it too, which led to a couple messages which were not happy with me at all. At the end of the day, I think it's important to share your experiences online. Influencers shouldn't just present their life as this perfect world, and you should share with your audience vulnerabilities. However, you should do it out of the moment once you've reflected and processed it offline first. Sharing stuff in the moment is never helpful and isn't beneficial to anyone. Keep important details of your life private. Not everyone needs to know everything about your life. You can still talk about a situation and how you coped with it without sharing explicit details. You can still mention a breakup without having to talk about all the bad things your boyfriend did. Now, obviously, it's up to every creator and everyone's different, and what you consume is different. But I think it is a dangerous cycle. I mean, we've all felt very negatively at one point, liked one or two depressing TikToks, and it's resulted in your whole feed just being this negative loop of stuff. I know it's happened to me before, and it's just so depressing. Every video from those vent accounts, which are like with just the TikTok profile, but it's like dark and usually they have like a bow on it or something. Sorry, little editing note. This isn't meant to be hate towards any vent accounts. I believe they're actually quite good because they still can express emotions and share stuff with their audience and make people feel seen without giving way too much detail or way too much personal information. We as a society are very nosy in general. I think we can all agree this. I remember about either last year or 2 years ago, someone posted a 14-part story about their ex or like a breakup or some messy situationship thing. I remember watching video essays on it by like Film Cooper and others because we as a society are intrigued by the drama. We are intrigued by people's personal struggles and therefore reward oversharing. I think it's just a very dangerous line to cross between sharing your experiences and letting out emotion and making people feel seen and giving too much information. But yeah, it's just like it gets to a point where it's like I don't need to know how much you shit in a day. You know? I don't need to know that you haven't wiped your butt since 2020. I saw that while researching the YouTube video. I went, oh, ew. I don't I don't want to see that. I don't want to know about information. I'm scared. Wait, this is the video.
My ass, so I do get yeast infections more often than most people. I stopped wiping my ass back in 2020 when COVID happened and
Since 2020, since COVID started. Like, what? I don't want to know that information about you. Keep that to yourself, I beg, I beg. But what do you guys think? Is oversharing on TikTok an empowering movement, or is it crossing a dangerous line?